So like any system, the Condor system itself runs on a web browser based. All of the main web browsers will accept this and run with it. Like any system, we have to log in via the login page. Now we can see here that we've got a site view. Now the idea behind Condor is that you can actually have it over multiple sites. Now if we click onto this, the system itself has got some live data pulled into there, and this will take us into the dashboard for that particular site. So if you were a customer who had multiple different sites, you could actually have all of those sites on one Condor system and be able to access them from one easy to access web page. Today we're going to look at the stock module, and we're going to look into ingredients. So we're going to have a look to see how Condor handles ingredients. So if I click on to stock and go into the ingredients tab there, I can see that this gives me a list of all the ingredients that are in my system. So these can be configured in two ways. I can create an ingredient manually by clicking on the create ingredient section. I can put a code, a name, and description in. Or if I have the API link with my Condor system, I can link that into an ERP system, which will automatically put the ingredients in there for me. So what we're going to do here, we're going to have a look and see what the configuration of a material looks like. So once we've added in the name, the code, and the base settings, we can configure that even further. So once I jump into that material there, I can see I've got a general section which has the code, the name, and a description if I want to put that in. We've got options down here to say whether there is a tracked option in there. So if it's a tracked material, we've got options to check the stock at launch so that when we make a batch that's got this particular ingredient in, it will actually have a look to see if it's got enough of it in. We have minimum and maximum quantities if you wanted to select minimum and maximum quantity for that particular material. We have a reincorporation section. So what we're seeing now is that some places actually use the rework and put it back in as a reincorporation in the recipe as a detailed product. So it goes in as a new ingredient. Further down there, we've got expiration date. So if it's something that has got an expiration date, that can be put in there. Dosing accuracies, places of incorporation, so whether it's a manual or an automatically weighed product, and where that can be actually pulled into the system. We've then got the cross-contamination section. So the cross-contamination section allows us to actually add a contamination rule against a material. So let's say that it's a material that's a medicine or a material that we don't want to be crossing with other materials because it could cause contamination. We can add that in at this point, and we can also specify authorized routes. It may be that we want this material to only go down one particular section of our factory or our production process. We've then got the packing section. So this is for bagged items. So if you get bags that come 10 kilogram, 25 kilogram, you can actually put that in and select what the bag size is. So the system then knows that that item is in bags. We've got dosage tolerances. So we can have multiple dosage tolerances or single. Single is the most commonly used. We can select whether we want this to be in percentage or in kilograms, and we can select the tolerance that we want to accept. So this is our available tolerance that the control system will then utilize when it creates a product with this ingredient in. Below is a feature that we really like at Promtech, and this is the hazmat and PPE requirements. So for each individual ingredient, I can actually select whether there is any hazmat information or PPE information that I want to display on the process control system screen when I'm physically running that batch through. So it could be that we've got a product that we need to wear a mask for, or we need to wear gloves for, or we need to wear eye protection for. These all get displayed on the graphics of the control system when that material has been used, in the same way that the hazmat also gets selected. So if we come back up to the top there, what we're going to do now is we're going to look into the lots and see what lots we've got of this. So when we take an intake in of this material, we actually have a lot that comes in. So we can see the quantity here, we can see the locations that they're in, and we can click on the locations here, or I can click on the locations at the top. So if I click on the locations, I can then see where these materials have been stored. So I've got raw material bins here, so these are the equivalent of silos effectively, and I can see whereabouts they are in my system, when they were last used, if it's not being used. If we go back into the lots again, back into the material code, that takes us back to where we were. So I hope that's been useful, and I hope it shows you the power of ingredients within Condor and what we can actually do with Condor to help you to improve the intelligence of your ingredients within your control systems.